It's bacon time. Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. Marco, the hot take kid, sitting in again today. I forgot to cue the music for the show.
This shirt don't fit like it used to, and I need another notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere else. Yeah, I can stand to lose a few pounds, but for right now, I'm working on my diet, but oh my God, ain't gotta be hungry to eat.
Can't forget the theme song. Good evening, everyone, and let us welcome our co-hosts tonight. We are welcoming
You know I got ya. Yeah. One. Break the one. Break down the walls. What's going on?
Troy. What is happening?
Man, we had to do some Jericho today. Happy birthday to one of the legends of wrestling for sure. Definitely Mount Rushmore at this point. I think you can put him up there. The guy's done everything in the wrestling business, even part of promoting now. So happy birthday to Mr. Jericho.
Happy birthday, Jericho.
About your damn luck. I'm a creek swimming, moonshine sipping, deer skinning, beer drinking, Johnny Cash listening. Long necks and rednecks are my friends.
Yeah, TJ, what's happening?
What's good, fellers?
Let's get one down.
What's going
Good
on?
evening. Cracked out on 2 hours of sleep. What's going on, TJ? Why you not getting your 8 hours, brother?
Well, so my son actually has hand, foot, and mouth, and it's really kind of screwing with his sleep schedule. And he'll also wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and just start screaming. Like, not even screaming as like he's in pain, but just like jibber jabber. And it's kind of
Yep.
cute in the morning, but not when you got to work a long time.
It's
Yeah,
getting old. It's getting old, kid.
Man, that stuff's
You know,
that
you
stuff's
can
really
go out there,
contagious
second
too,
story.
man.
It's getting around, man. My kids had it this a couple weeks, months ago.
Yep.
My oldest had it. We're
My
not around.
supervisor at work, his kid has it right now. So yeah, it's going around.
It's wild. It's wild because, like, you think of that as like a infant disease, and then when your teenagers get it, you're like, what
Right.
happened?
Yeah.
I got it when my daughter was, I want to say like 1 or 2, and I actually got a mutated gene of it to where it was really bad to the point where, like, dude, my like skin was peeling off. It was bad.
Oof.
Ugh. Ugh. Wash your hands. Gross. So yeah, it's a short list of guests tonight. It's us three. Everybody's out doing something. We got.
Yeah, I wonder why the Cubs fans aren't here tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what they. Yeah,
Or the Brewers. I mean, the Brewer fans. I'm
Brewer
sorry.
fans.
Yeah, why aren't the Brewer fans here tonight?
they're weeping. They're weeping. They're weeping.
I was saying, before we start, how was your guys' weekend? I was texting you guys throughout the weekend, kind of how it was, but I don't think we really talked about it. How's everybody's weekend?
Mine was good.
Good. Are we speaking about something in particular?
Yeah,
Well, no, I literally this whole the whole weekend itself, because Saturday I was very quiet, and then kind of Sunday I was trying to let everybody know what was going on. But if Ben was taking over the chat and everything about how he's going to be upset about the Brewers, and then the whole rest of the week it was the Brewers, they suck.
Yeah.
Well, my weekend's good. We, my son's in the IHSA playoffs, so they advanced with a big win out in Rockford. Thank you. Everybody's got a game plan till they get punched in the mouth, and we punched the number 2 seed.
Yep.
And the seeding's a little bit misleading when you get into high school sports because it's based off of record, and they don't play the same type of caliber teams. But IC Knights keep rolling, and we got a home game on Saturday against
It's
St.
interesting. They
Lawrence.
just moved up a class too, right?
Yeah. So we moved up
So
a
it's
class.
probably hard for them to judge that as well,
Yep. And they're Rockford, so they play other corn-fed small schools, they don't play the caliber of teams that we played against. So we had,
Right.
a tough schedule. So that was good. What about you, Troy? What'd you end up doing this past weekend?
Weeping on Sunday night, watching the Bengals beat the Bills. I mean, I don't know what's going on. That situation's a mess. Just you can't point to one thing. It's just they can't all get on the same page. So hopefully they figure that out soon, because they're gonna start letting the playoffs slip away from here if they keep going at the rate they're going, because their schedule only gets tougher at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything was good. This weekend, actually, I'm looking forward to it. My uncle Paul, who I've talked about on this show before, military veteran, PJ pararescue. He'll actually be visiting up in our area this weekend, so I'll get to see him on Saturday. So that'll be a good time. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to this weekend, and hopefully Michigan stomping Penn State.
Oh, let's go. And what about you, TJ? How's the new gig, newish gig? And did you ever get that truck you were talking about?
Nah.
Got to pull that trigger,
Saving the
man.
money. But no, my weekend was actually really fun. So every year we go to a thing called Import versus Domestic. It's called the World Cup Finals, the biggest drag race in the world. Over, I want to say 30 countries show up, bring out their fastest cars, all different classes. I take my daughter every year. She actually got to meet her favorite YouTuber, which was really cool. And she
Logan Paul.
What's up?
Logan Paul.
If I ever saw him at that, dude, I would take his Lamborghini and slam it in a wall.
Oh, you don't like him just like Ben, huh?
Oh, I hate him. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Cletus McFarland.
I have not.
I've seen the name. I think I follow him.
Is he related to Cletus Judd?
Yeah, I think I follow him on one of the social medias.
Yeah, he's super cool guy, really funny. So he actually won the stick shift class in the whole event, which is very hard to do. But it was pretty fun. And then Sunday celebrated my wife's birthday with her side of the family, and then kind of Tuesday celebrated her actual birthday with my mom, and got some really good ramen, dude. I think I'm gonna get into the ramen.
Get in the ramen game, dude. They're all over the place here in Chicago. There's a ramen spot on every corner, it seems like.
Hey, can I just jump into one more thing before we forget? We start getting too crazy with all the sports talk here, but happy Veterans Day to all those veterans out there tomorrow. Thank you for all your sacrifice and everything you do for our country. We sure do appreciate it that we're able to do stupid shit like this,
Absolutely. It's going to get more and more important as this crazy world continues to get crazy. And we got troops on the move. We got boots on the ground. We got things going on. Some of us got kids that are in that age where they got to start making decisions, or, the whispers of the fact that they might not have a decision to make. They might be told what they got to do. And TJ, did you age out of that? Are you 26 yet?
I will be 29 this year.
Okay, good. All right.
But the funny part about it is I'm still technically in that. So if the draft were to happen, I'm still technically a part of that due to the fact that I am physically able to still do stuff.
Yeah.
So
wild.
So one of the recruiters, the only downside of it is with this tattoo, it's frowned upon in the military.
Yeah, but I think we might be in a stage where they'll make a pass on certain things. Because
just wear gloves, kid.
Yeah. So cool. Well, let's get started. Big news this weekend in the MLB Hot Stove Winter Meetings. I'm a huge fan of what happened, and some of us are not.
So what did Craig Counsell see that last week when he was playing the Cubs that he decided he wanted to jump ship?
It was that money truck that they backed up. Beep,
okay.
Beep, 40 million. Gosh. And the way they did it was so shisty, man. Like, totally. Let's just blindside our manager that the guys played for to, the second half of the season. They clearly played for David Ross. I don't know if that's going to have an effect on the clubhouse. I don't know. Not a lot of players have come out and spoken about it that I've seen. But yeah, and then right away, Ross's name is in the San Diego mix. Some people were talking about, well, maybe they're going to make him a front office guy, but I think he wants to be a manager.
I'd love to see Ross take over for Ron Washington over at the third base coach for the Braves now.
Yeah, but I don't know. Does he want to take a seat down the bench? Do you want to? Is there some learning to do?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe that's a good spot for him to kind of sit in there. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Snicker's not a young guy, but I mean, here's Tony La Russa. He's been managing since what, 1947. So
yeah. I mean, every year there's what 4, 5, 6 managers that are looking for new jobs and teams that are looking for guys. I think Rossi will definitely get a look. You don't know what there's still some dominoes that have to fall in certain places. I don't think the Nationals are done fixing their problem.
Right.
Which is that was one of the dark horse names that I wanted to come out for the Cubs to replace Rossi. I'm not a Rossi guy. I like him, but I don't think he's a championship caliber coach. And it's funny because I think last week I was yelling about Craig Counsell to Ben saying, win something, do something, oh, he's the best coach. Oh, he's, won 90 games every season. That wasn't a COVID season, but it's like, all right, well, get out of the first round.
Yep.
But
I expanded on that when you were talking about that. I jumped in and kind of just said sometimes that change of scenery is what a coach needs, though. I mean, perfect. And Andy Reid is the perfect example in football. Like that dude he kept getting to the pinnacle, kept getting there. He couldn't get over the hump. He goes to the Chiefs, and now like he went from being a guy that couldn't win at all to probably the greatest coach to ever be in the game.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I don't argue that. I think the argument is, is Belichick the best coach? Well, he hasn't done anything without Brady.
Yeah.
Is Mahomes the linchpin to Andy Reid's success? Okay, yeah, but I mean, he did get to 4 straight Super Bowls, and that's not an easy thing.
4 straight NFC championships.
Yeah, championship games. That's not a easy feat to do. So,
and a lot of times that was when McNabb was hurt too. Like I don't know if you remember that one run they had was it who was the guy that jumped in for McNabb and then ended up AJ Feely.
Yeah.
AJ Feely, 3rd string quarterback, and he takes him to the playoffs. I mean, and then he ends up getting a big payday out of that.
He did.
Yeah.
So, maybe Rossi needs to change the scenery. There's some, I'm happy for Ron Washington. I'm a huge Ron Washington guy. Always been a Ron Washington guy.
Same here. I'm sorry to see him go, but yeah, definitely deserving.
Yeah. And then
players absolutely love him.
Yeah. Players, media, everybody loves him. No one, I don't know if I've ever heard a bad thing said about.
He would have never lost that job if he wouldn't have got caught with that crack or whatever he had that time. But,
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
We all have our vices.
He relapsed. He seems like a really good dude, though. I'm sure he just got caught in a bad situation. But I'm sorry to see him go. I mean, he's a great teacher of the game. He really is.
Yeah. So cool. Other hot stove stuff. I mean, Trevor Bauer is looking to make a comeback to the MLB, which is well deserved.
Should have never been out of it.
Should have never been out of it. I think charges need to be brought on that gold digging woman. Yeah, family show. Yeah. So and he was pitching lights out in Japan. I think he's got. They were saying it's a 1 more mile per hour velocity on his fastball.
Oh wow!
So he's looking good, and that's going to be a man on a mission. That's going to be a guy that's going to be. That's a guy you want on your team. Yeah. So I also saw that Javi Baez opted in for another 4 years in Detroit. So Detroit, you're stuck with Javi Baez for 4 more years. And what else was some other good news coming out of the Hot Stove League?
The Silver Slugger Awards came out today.
That's right, they did.
Yeah. They sure did. Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
Cody Bellinger. Cubs need to back the money truck up, man. I can't believe they let him go. Or is he a Boris guy?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me look.
Scott Boras had his
day. Good old Google can't handle. Scott Boras.
Yeah.
Yep.
He is?
Yeah, Scott Boras, yep.
Yeah, so he's gonna test the market and wait to the last minute. Who is Otani's agent?
Jeez, I wonder if he's even.
Nez Balello.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Yeah, never heard of him. Good, which means it's not Scott Boras. Yeah, he's coming off of Tommy John, but I think Tommy John only makes guys better. Guys like Otani are going to be. He's gonna bounce right back.
How old a guy is he? 28, 29?
Otani?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think he's young.
I don't think he's that young.
He's 29.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That's old school prime, right? That's a good age. That's a good age.
Yeah. But from what I heard, though, like he's not looking for a long-term contract this year, but possibly just like a 1 year and then possibly a long-term next year. Is that what I heard?
He probably lost a lot of money having to get Tommy John. He probably lost a lot of money. He's not going to be able to pitch, but he'll be able to hit.
Sure.
So he'll be able to DH. So cool. And then you hit 52 bombs and be a DH and then come back and pitch.
Did he field before they started using him as a pitcher? Or
yeah, he fielded.
Okay, what would he play? Outfield or first base or what?
Yeah, he's a right fielder. He's got a cannon. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
I would figure. Yeah.
He's a good right fielder. But then you don't have to risk injury for that. Watch out for the Phillies though. I saw Bryce Harper going to play. Reese Hoskins a free agent, but Bryce Harper, first baseman, going to play first.
Staying at first. Yep. Staying at first. So that means Reese Hoskins probably on the move, right? Because they're still going to use DH as their DH is still going to be
Schwarber.
Yeah.
So
that probably means Reese Hoskins is on the move, and that's a shame because he really only lost his position because of injury and moved Bryce in there. And I guess they feel Bryce Harper's never going to get his arm strength back. I don't know. Like
next man up. Well, again, right? Why? Well, yeah. The first base is kind of like a DH.
It is.
DH to the NL.
It just seems like that's another bat in their lineup that they probably wouldn't mind having, especially a right-handed bat. I'm pretty sure Hoskins is a right-hander, right? So.
Yep.
So you would think you'd want that right-hand bat because they don't really have right-hand power, do they? Well, I guess they do. Alec Boehm and who's the other guy? That Castellanos. I think they're both righties.
Yep.
So I guess it'll work out, but just it seems like it's a shame because they were really high. He was a big prospect for them coming out of the farm system.
Huge, yeah. Huge. So cool.
But I guess that's the game. That's the game. People just move on, and you don't see the Chipper Joneses anymore that stay with the same team for 15 years.
Yeah, free agency does it, and then when you get they sign these. Well, MLB contracts are guaranteed, so.
I also think that whole situation, Troy, with the one player playing with the team for his whole career, has to do a lot with the fans as well. Because when you have certain backlash when it comes to certain fans or fan bases, they're not going to stay in that city. And I think the biggest thing, and I'll attest to it being an Astros fan, was Yuri Gurriel.
Mm-hmm.
When we played in the World Series, he was hit with the racist comment towards, I think, like 2 players, where he squinted his eyes and called him a chink.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yes.
So, yeah, it was that bad. And so that gave Houston a bad taste in their mouth. He was doing all right. And then last year, before we let him go, it was last year before we let him go, he said that the one thing that he didn't like was how the fan base got him in trouble. Like, he didn't like how the fan base of the Houston Astros were coming after him, telling him that he was a bad person for doing that. Like, he's like, it's just field talk. And he goes, for people to say something, he goes, it's not their business. They don't put the uniform on. They're not out there swinging the bats or, throwing the balls around. He goes, why should it, why do they determine that? So that's why he got traded out. Didn't do any better this year because he got suspended for 15 games. Another racist comment.
Yeah, apparently he didn't learn his lesson.
Nope.
So.
Yep. Well, the fans pay the ticket prices, and you gotta be in tune with what's going on. So
definitely. Yeah, that's a shame that he's.
All right, guys. So. How do we do this past weekend, Troy? I see Punchy Face is still having some big game problems.
Yeah, I disagree, though. I think he's actually having one of the better seasons of his career. It's just, I mean, the interceptions are very noticeable, I would say. But I actually saw a stat today, Marco, and it was comparing Mahomes to Josh Allen, and their stats are eerily similar this year. And it's even
Oh,
arguable that Allen's are better than Mahomes are this year. Um,
probably. Yards
it's
wise,
just one of those.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Statistically,
has more yards. He
yards
has a higher
wise,
completion percentage.
touchdown.
I think he has one more interception, but he has three more touchdowns. Um, yeah, and that can be said. I mean, and I know Mahomes is going through transition with the receivers. I understand all that. Um, but
Matt
what
Nagy.
my point is I think I listened to a podcast, and one of the things the guy is really high on is wins aren't a quarterback stat, and I feel like we're kind of pushing Josh Allen into that category right now, where we feel like he's letting the team down. But if you look at him statistically, I get the interceptions are bad. I understand that, but he's also having very bad luck with the interceptions. I saw something where he has one of the lowest um, probable turnover ratios, but they all turn in to turnovers. So he's having bad luck with that as well. Like,
Yeah,
so I just feel like he's not having a bad year. It's getting put on him. I think a lot of the injuries on the defense are hurting. Their run game has not been the same since, I don't know, week 5, maybe something like that. And that is really killing him. And they wanted to get to the point where they didn't want to have to use him in the run game as much. And they've really pushed away from it. And now I think they're getting to the point where they're in desperation. They might have to start running him. And I think they're just trying to save him to prolong his career. And you can't blame him for that, you know?
yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. They have the Broncos this week, then they have the Jets, and then they have a tough one in Philly. So this is gonna be tough. They gotta win these two. They gotta win these next two, and then they have a tough stretch coming up. I think they have Philly, KC. I think the Chargers are in there, and there's one, maybe the Patriots, something like that. So, and the Patriots already beat them, so you can't overlook them. So I don't know.
Right.
It's tough. It's just one of those years right now. I don't know.
Well, it's
Maybe
all
they
good.
need to, maybe they need to finish third and get a third place schedule.
It's, right, yeah. Get in a wild card, and anything can happen. TJ, what happened to the Cowboys? They smacked around a team, and then they came out and scored 6 points in the second half to the Eagles. It seemed like they they had a shot. I know that third quarter was probably more frustrating than anything. But what's going on in Big D?
I couldn't even tell you. It seems like any time that Dallas goes to the link, it's like they're terrified to play, and it was very shocking to me that they come out off of a massively dominant win the week prior, and then literally just kind of almost quiver in their boots coming to Philly. I mean, I know the fans are bad, but should be able to at least play a game. I mean, be a decent team because on paper, this team easily should have ran over the Eagles, or if not, keep it very close. So the fact that that the whole game itself was just trash, and the fact that at the very last play, CeeDee Lamb was 5 yards out from the end zone, and he turns around, and he goes, "I thought I was closer." You're the number one receiver for Dallas. Everybody's got you on fantasy. They're expecting you to get these high. You're supposed to be a high IQ athlete. Oh, I thought I was closer than I was. No, you were too stupid to even see where you were. You turned around and went 5 yards the opposite direction. So, in my opinion, the game was just trash. It shows that Dallas does have faults. Every team has a fault. Dallas has a fault, and it's called the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. And I'll be honest, anytime Dallas plays Philly in Philly, I normally turn it off, and then I'll either have people heckle me saying, "What the hell happened?" or they'll be quiet, and I'm like looking through my phone, being like, "Did they actually win?" And they didn't win. It's as a Dallas fan, my wife said it perfectly this year, like to all of my friends. As Dallas fans, when we win, we celebrate. When we lose, we're like, what's the difference?
Win or lose, we still booze.
Pretty much.
The difference will be when that loss is keeping you out of the playoffs or
I kind of
week
disagree
one.
with you though, TJ. I thought the Cowboys actually played a pretty good game. I thought Dak played a nice game. Um, I, I actually thought I saw a lot out of Dak in that game. I saw a lot of heart, a lot of grit, putting his body on the line, running for stuff. It was a good game. It came right down to the end. Yeah, I agree that Lamb obviously cut that short off that rat off too short and shouldn't have did that. But in the same breath, I mean, it's a desperation play. You're at the 30-yard line or something like that. So you're
Yeah, I
just
mean, I,
trying
I
to.
can I can vouch
But
for the Dak Prescott. Yeah, he played his heart out. He pretty much put the team on his back.
I agree.
But out of that as well is, I mean, yes, he's a solid quarterback, but he can't win the game himself. Like, as Dallas fans alone are just like, don't make him do all this extra work, because we want to have that solidified number one quarterback. We picked up Trey Lance, ain't seen him.
Well,
I
he's a
see his
third string
jersey.
quarterback. He's not. He's gonna prove. He's gonna earn his stripes in camp and try to fight for the second string or nip at the heels of the starting quarterback because he's the young, raw talent coming off of an injury. But I mean, Dallas had the best offensive line 2 years ago. They
Yeah.
have arguably one of the best wide receivers. Pollard chased Zeke out of town as the guy in the backfield. So you have arguably the best defender in Micah Parsons. So yeah, there's some injury, to the secondary. But we're running out of excuses, Dallas. We're running out of excuses.
We gotta stop
Mike
drinking beer
McCarthy.
before a game. That's the thing.
I think McCarthy's actually doing a nice job. I just think the problem that's been the same since the guy ran Jimmy Johnson out of time is Jerry Jones. He just needs to stick to office stuff and stop putting his nose in the football stuff.
What did I say? They are not going to win a Super Bowl until I run this team. Jerry Jones, I'm coming after you. And anybody that knows him, tag him in this thing. I'm coming after you.
So Kansas City had a home game on the road in Frankfurt. That
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great atmosphere. If from the national anthem to all the touchdowns to the chop going on, but man, the Chiefs are in trouble. Their offense is not clicking. I blame Matt Nagy. Fine, we can say whatever we want about the distractions of Taylor Swift or whatever, but when Patrick Mahomes only has 185 yards in a game, those are first half. Those are first quarter stats for Patrick
Kelsey had
Mahomes.
3 catches for 11 yards.
Nobody had more than 3 catches, right? So he's
Wow.
spreading the ball around, but he's not getting it to anybody. I
Mhm.
blame, a lot of people are like, oh, the wide receiver room is not good. Well, then that's Marquez Valdez-Scantling's fault because he's the pro and he's not running routes properly and not reacting to the situations well.
I think Rashee Rice is their best receiver on their team right now, and I don't know why they're not using him more.
I think so too, and he's 2 plays away from having 2 more touchdowns. Earlier in the season, he was a yard short. He got, and if you looked at the replay on one of them, he should have been in. He had a great touchdown early in the game. Well, all the touchdowns came early in the game for the Chiefs.
Yeah, it was tail 2 halves there.
It really was. It really was. But how sweet is that fumble from Tyreek that goes to the guy that they drafted for the draft pick that they got.
Oh, was it? That's interesting.
It was so serendipitous. It was awesome. And who knew Cook can go 21.5 miles per hour? He ran I saw a thing. He ran his 40 speed that he clocked out at, but he ran it for like 57 yards. And it's just, and coaching football, and I coach Pop Warner or whatever, but when we make the kids run their 40, we're like, this is such a waste of time. These kids aren't going to run 40 miles. Who cares how fast you can run for 40 miles? Or 40 yards. It's the 10 yards where the play is happening. But you really can't tell like who's going to have that sustained, stamina to run all the way down the field or to return the fumble or return, the catch and run after the catch. Those are immeasurables that they don't do in the combine. But that was a great game. And then the Dolphins the Dolphins came back. I mean, yeah, they put up 70 on Denver, but they're getting figured out. There's tape on them. There's, they're beating them up within the first 5 yards. I think that was a big deal. That fumble itself was a good play drawn up, but the lead blocker missed the block. If he makes that block, I think it's a completely different play, and it probably goes for a first down. And it was a huge play to end the half on that. So that was a good game. And now for our Green Bay fans, hey guys, good win. Green Bay took it to them, right? Didn't the Packers win last week?
No, they didn't.
No,
They played the Rams, didn't they?
Yeah, they won 20-3. They took it to them.
Oh, that's
Rams,
right. That's right.
Rams
That's right. Stafford didn't play. That's
problem.
right. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
They stuck to
I had
the
it
ground.
backwards.
Jones had like 20 carries and a TD.
Yep.
Is Brett Ripien? Is that Mark Ripien's kid?
That's a good question. I think it is.
I mean, that's my go-to for everybody that has a name.
Yeah. I really think it is, though. Actually,
Really?
I do. Yeah. I'll look it up as we're talking, but I think it is.
That's
maybe
awesome.
not. It's saying he's Canadian American. Tim Rippin.
Yes, he's the nephew. He's the nephew of Mark
Nephew.
Ripien.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, right on. All right.
Yep.
Cool. I love when my little anecdotes work. But hey, look, the NFC North is definitely not the runaway division that we thought it was going to be for the Vikings and the
Right.
Lions.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's going to be a black and blue division. We're early November. The Bears are struggling, but they might pull out a win and have three. Again, 500 or 9
Bears
wins.
win either way tonight, right?
The Bears do win either way. I think it's just just a matter of which pick they're going to keep and which one they're going to trade down with, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other key games from last week that you guys?
Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs with the Vikings. Holy crap, man!
Dude, he didn't know the cadence.
Unbelievable. Like what they couldn't have ran more than 10 plays. You know what I mean? Like they probably had 10 plays for him in the playbook to choose from for that game. Like it's just
wild.
Unbelievable. He doesn't know the receivers, how their routes are. He doesn't know when they like to break stuff off. He
doesn't know their names.
Right.
What that reminds
incredible.
me of? That reminds me of when Baker Mayfield went to
the Rams last year. Yep.
He had one night. Dobbs had two. He had one night, came in and played, and had a phenomenal game. Won the game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with some of these quarterbacks. Like they can just come in and play. So I will. Josh Dobbs was awesome to watch.
I think between last year when he came in, when Tannehill got hurt for the Titans, and now this year, jumping into the Cardinals 2 weeks before the season started, being the starter, now jumping in for the Vikings here and giving them a chance at the playoffs, to be honest. This guy's going to earn a decent payday as a backup next year, I think.
Yep.
Good for him. I liked him coming out of college. I think he was like a Heisman finalist. He's like Tennessee.
Yeah, he's Tennessee.
He's a baller. Yeah. He's a baller. So yeah, good for him. I hope I'd like to see him do good things. It's anybody quarterback side of the SEC. Big fan. Yeah. So and then the Falcons finally ran Bijan for 11 carries. Didn't do much. They finally used them. So yeah, that's the Falcons are a weird franchise. I don't get them. I don't get them.
Yeah, they got a really strange thing going on there. That they were winning games with Desmond Ridder, and granted, I know he wasn't putting up the most fantastic of stats, but they were winning, right? So why change the quarterback? Like what?
Well, he was throwing interceptions in the red zone. He was. Then they weren't winning.
They were winning games. I mean, they were 4-2 with him or something.
I don't know. Did he get dinged up? Yeah, didn't he have a concussion? They let him back in really fast, and everybody.
Yeah, you're right. He did get hurt or something, and then they rolled him out. But then they said he was eligible to come back in or something into that game. But then they didn't. They stayed with Heineke anyway. Then.
Yeah, I think they covered their.
It wasn't even like 2 days later. They said Heineke's going to start next week. So
yeah. So cool. All right. So let's take a look at this week coming up. We're week 10 out of 18. We got some pretty interesting games on the docket. Let me get this prepped up here with my bells and whistles. So one of the games that I'm excited for is the 49ers and their slide down. They're -3 versus the Jags. Jags are not the team I thought they were going to be in terms of winning percentage. I don't know. It's a, again, Joey Lawrence is a good quarterback, but he's got the wide receivers, he's got the running game. Is it their defense that's knocking them out? How do you guys feel about this game, and how do you guys feel about the 49ers and their woes and their new acquisition of Chase Young reunited with Joey Bosa?
That's gonna be crazy there. That's gonna be really. I mean, if they get on the same page with that pass rush, that's gonna be insane. I feel like this is interesting, right? Because they're both coming off buys, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The 49ers have kind of they've lost 3 in a row. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, 3 in a row, and then the Jags have kind of been rolling since week 3 or something.
I think the Niners have also struggled to score points. Let me see. They only scored 17 against them. Yeah, they've been scoring 17 points for like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
17 again. Yeah, the San Francisco.
And I think that's all when they lost Debo as well. So I wonder if Debo's back this week.
Let's take a look. See, but yeah, But what happened to McCaffrey? I thought he was the ultra back, and
well, he was dinged up for a little bit too.
Yeah, he had a rib injury.
Ribs, yeah.
And so he was supposed to be out for like 2 to 3 weeks. The only reason why I know this is because Ben tried to trade me for McCaffrey, and I told him to suck it. But he had a rib injury, and they said he was supposed to be out like 2 to 3 weeks, and then slowly come back. From that, they played him right away. I mean, it wasn't even like, "Hey, we're going to sit you." No, it was the fact that
he didn't practice either, right? I think he missed practice all week, but he still played.
Yeah, and I think they had a Monday night game that week, so I think they thought that extra day would be good enough, and he'd be ready to roll.
Well, from what was said, he did not want to miss a game because he wanted to have that consecutive streak of touchdowns in a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's selfish.
And that's utterly selfish. And if I found that out as like a linebacker or a defensive lineman, I'm gonna suplex his ass into the ground. I'm gonna snap that streak myself. But I think, in my eyes, this is going to be the coming out of Chase Young, 100%. He's a solidified DN. Don't get me wrong. I hated him. Still do. I will always see him as a commander. But I think with the right defense, he's going to open up and become one of, if not the best defensive ends in the NFL. And I think, that it's a tall tale to say. I think he's there because he needs to have that team behind him. And Commanders did not have that. You've got a team that, has a solid front line, especially front seven. Yeah, he's gonna grow up to be something big. And, he may not be the greatest of all time, but he definitely will be. He'll be up there.
Yeah, I think this is a good situation.
Oh,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if you're looking for a prediction for me on this game here, I just think it's something that the Niners need it more. So I'll take the Niners for that reason. The 3 points, that's tough. It's probably going to be right around that line, honestly. 24-21, 23-20, 27-24, something. It's going to be right at that line. So
I'll take the over. I don't know. It's a pick 'em for me on which team's going to put it together and get a win. I'll throw TJ in on the bet, though, that Sweat will have more sacks than Young post 2023. So starting next season, sack total. That was a bet that Ben made last week. And now you're on the hook for it, too, because you think he's going to be the best D end in football. So there you go.
I mean,
let's go to Baltimore, Browns, Ravens. Something happened, right? So it opened up at 4.5, but now they're 6.5 point dogs. What do you guys feel like is going to happen in this divisional matchup? That's a lot of points for a divisional matchup for a Browns team that was looking pretty good early, and a Ravens team that the talking heads feel might be the best in the AFC. And
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I don't know what they're seeing, but I think they're a good team. I think they're a good, solid team. But I think it's the same that you see with the Ravens every year. I think they're a good, solid team every year in the regular season, and then they get to the first round of the playoffs, and
was
so
Lamar going to stay healthy? Right? So is Lamar,
yeah,
is Lamar having a MVP caliber year? Is I don't know. You look at what Tua is doing, and you still have Mahomes and in the AFC. So I don't know. I don't think he's doing too much. But if they go on a tear and start winning games and start putting up some space in between them in the division, why not?
I
But
think if the quarterbacks keep doing what they're doing right now, to be honest, I think this could be the year you don't see a quarterback win it, and maybe McCaffrey does win it.
could
So
be.
I'm gonna let you guys know, being in the Baltimore area, literally 25 minutes down the road, the word around town is this team is balanced. The word for them is balanced. As a outsider looking in to the Ravens, the only thing that I can say is truly menacing right now. That defense that they have reminds me of the 2000s Ravens when they won.
Stop it. Stop
What?
it. Stop it. Don't you dare.
I'm going
Don't you dare.
You can't be serious.
I'm going
all right,
to.
you're sleep deprived and now it's starting to show. Knock it
You got
off.
studs over
Knock
on
it
that
off.
defense.
Do you know what type of points that they were holding teams to? I mean, how many shutouts have the Ravens had this season? I don't think they've had any. Let me see.
Pull up that schedule.
I mean,
Are they even
yeah,
leading the points allowed?
I'm just doing a quick look to see if they've held anybody to single digits. And yeah, stop it. You stop it. You go to bed.
You're missing your sleep.
Okay, so they did smack the Browns 28-3 back in October. So maybe that's what everybody's looking at in terms of why the line moved so much and why the spread is so high. But I mean, no, stop it. The Ravens, come on, 24 points to the Bengals. I don't think the 2000 Ravens gave up 24 points a game all season, and they already have a loss. So knock it off. Just hang up on yourself. 9 points against the Texans early week 1. Okay, 25-9. Okay, maybe they're formidable, but 22-19 loss to the Colts back in October, or September. Yeah, no. Okay, all right. Thanks.
They are leading the league in points against and actually point differential too. So
they can't be leading the Chiefs up until last week, even the up until the loss to the Broncos. They've had only given up 14 points per game or 15 points per game.
Ravens have only allowed 124 points so far, and the next closest is let me pull it up here again. The Browns at 139.
Wow. All right.
2000 defense.
Get out of here.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that.
Okay. And I will send it to you guys. That is what they're comparing them to here in Baltimore.
No, that's insane.
That's ridiculous.
That defense literally was the only reason that team was competitive every year. Every year.
But you got to think about it. Has Lamar and that offense really clicked yet? Todd Monken, yes, he's a new OC. He came in with high hopes, high expectations. OBJ hadn't done anything until last week. Scored his first touchdown as a Raven. And we're in week 9? If I was the head coach or GM, dude, OBJ would have been gone. He promised all this stuff. Yeah, he had a year off, whatever. Dude, you come in with high expectations, high hopes. No, that's not the way I see this. That Ravens defense, if I were to say for this game, the Browns versus the Ravens, I think the Ravens defense is going to win that game for them.
All right, looking at an article here.
I won't fight you on that one, but what I will say is they got the Bengals and the Chargers the 2 weeks after that, and we'll see what that defense is all about.
We will.
All right. So we have another line movement here with the Texans at Bengals. It opened up at 9.5, down to 6.5.
Wow.
The Bengals are another team that are trying to discover themselves. I think they, the Joe Burrow injury was worse than people thought to start the season off. But what do you guys like here with CJ Stroud and the Texans going up to the Bengals? TJ?
Wait, sorry, I'm reading what Ben's putting in there, and he's actually.
Yeah, I was just reading that too.
He's blowing us up, Ben.
Yeah, Ben's blowing us up. The closet Ravens fan here. Yeah, I mean, what? They had a running game in 2000. They have zero running game outside Lamar this year. Okay, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand what that. What is he trying to prove there? What is he saying?
I'm not sure, but he's definitely liking the fact that the Ravens are cruising, and Ben big on Ravens. All right, Ben, we got you in for the Ravens, buddy. He also thinks the Bengals are going to win with the Texans covering.
What is it? 6.5?
6.5. I'll take the under. Again, that's another game that if the Bengals get clicking like they should, the Texans defense is their weakness, in my opinion.
Let me ask this for this game. Do you think the Bengals are going to hold back a little bit, knowing that they play the Ravens on a short week?
What do you mean, like hold back? Like they got some plays that they're saving tape on? They gotta
not even plays. Like they'll let Joe B play, but they're gonna be more. I don't want to say snap count, but kind of like how it is in baseball. Like you once you get a certain amount of pitches in, you're gonna pull your pitcher. But do you think they're going to pull some of the starters ever so slightly? Like we won't notice it enough, but they're going to pull some starters to make sure that come Thursday night against the Ravens,
no,
they have a semi-healthy team.
I don't think you do that unless you have the game in hand. But
I think
that's possible. But I also, I mean, you just kind of made me think if it's a short week going up against the Ravens like that. I mean, is this that typical trap game?
I think they're trying to click on all cylinders. They want to come out and prove a point against that historic Ravens defense ahead of another division game on the 26th when they host the Steelers. I don't see them pulling any punches and holding back. I think the Bengals are going to try to really establish themselves as a team to reckon with now that Burrow's healthy and they're out there, but they could be without Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for Sunday's
I
game.
saw that.
Wait a minute. Maybe TJ's on to something. Hold on. Maybe TJ's on to something.
TJ has some inside info, huh?
Injured his hamstring at practice on Wednesday. Not expected to suit up. That's T. Higgins. Jamar Chase returned to practice as he's dealing with an ailing back and landing hard week 9. After practice, Chase offered an encouraging update. He's in my head, he's playing, but again, it's not up to his head. It's up to what the coach says. So maybe TJ's on something.
He did get hammered in that. He went up for a pass in that Bills game on a Sunday night, and he came down straight on his back. It looked like it hurt.
See, the only reason why I say this, and I'm going to use your Chiefs for this one, okay? Because this is something that I've thought about it. Chiefs have a short week, okay? They play the Ravens on a Thursday night. Ravens and Chiefs. Probably the game that everybody wants to see right now. Do the Chiefs go all out, balls out in this game, or do they let off the throttle a little bit, come into a game against a well-rounded opponent, and throttle the hell out of them? Like that's what I want to see. Like, are the Bengals gonna not really punch it from the start, but kind of get that little leeway in between? Knowing that the Texans really aren't a Texans team that could beat the living crap out of you, but it's a Texans team that could put up a good fight. do you get that point differential in, start pulling some players, like I said, ever so slightly, just to have them healthy for that Thursday night game? Because it's a divisional game. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be tough. Things can happen. I honestly think that they're going to start pulling players maybe mid-third quarter.
No, I agree with Ben here. I mean, this is the NFL, man. You can't hold back. You got to go. I mean, if you're up by 30 in the fourth quarter, well, yeah, then I get it. You're going to pull your guys out, but until you get to that point, you don't.
Yeah. I don't know. It's now looking at the injury report. Maybe TJ's onto something. So we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, Ben. So suck it.
I don't know. I mean,
all right, Ben.
DJ Stroud looks pretty damn good. I don't think that's a team you want to sleep on.
All right, the two worst fan bases in the NFL go at it as the Packers and Steelers face off. Ugliest uniform winner and runner-up. Hopefully they don't do throwbacks because those are even gross, almost as gross as all orange Bears jerseys that we got going on. Over and under 39. I'm taking the under.
Hell
we got the Packers +3 at Steelers. I think the Steelers make Love look bad as good, as great as he looked last week. Yeah. What do you guys think's going on here?
See a 13-10 game, something like that. I'm taking the over or the under hard on this. Yeah, I mean 39. I don't think they'll get to 39 if you count this week and their next week's score.
Ooh, all right. Hammer in the under. All right. TJ, what do you got?
I'd take the under as well. I feel like the Steelers, as much as I want to just make fun of Ben, I think the Steelers are going to take them cheese heads, slice it up, and put them on one of those Primanti Brothers sandwiches and eat it in their face.
Ben likes the over, and he takes the Steelers.
How?
He's throwing in the towel. I think he's angry with all Wisconsin sports. So, come on down to the border and cheer some good teams.
How do you take the over on this? I can't talk myself into that in any way.
Not over. He says they cover. They cover, but he didn't. Yeah, he says
no. He
takes the over. Actually,
all right, well, let's go. I'm with Ben on this one. I want the Steelers to score all the points, and they win 40.
Is that what he thinks? He thinks this is like a 30-15 game or something, or
he doesn't like the Packers defense. I know that. He did in the beginning of the season.
You ever see the Steelers offense?
I don't know. He says he might be able to explain in a bit. We'll see how it's going.
Okay.
But, so that was that's that one. Now the TJ stepped out, but this is the game that I'm excited to see because you don't see 17-point spreads every week in the NFL. Dallas coming off of their disappointing second half in a division game, stay in the division, but host the Giants. It's a low total at 39, in my opinion. But again, we got who's the quarterback for the Giants this week?
I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, they got Barkley. They got Tom DeVito. Is that his name?
Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito was named the starter today. That is the reason why they're 17-point underdogs.
Yeah.
Who is Tommy DeVito?
He is a rookie out of Syracuse University. Fairly
the
decent.
Big Orange.
Fairly decent player, I will admit. He was fun to watch, but
didn't he only complete one pass last week for like -7 yards?
Yep.
What is with these teams taking these undrafted guys and they're the second most important position on a team is the backup quarterback. The first important is the starting quarterback. But one hit and you're putting your franchise's hands. And the Giants weren't going to win the Super Bowl, but I mean, there's nobody else out there that can take.
They had Tyrod. They had Tyrod. Tyrod got hurt too, though.
Yeah. Okay. Tyrod did get hurt.
Yeah.
Again, still all right. Even if you're going on your third or fourth decision, and I know everybody needs to get their shot, but I mean, there's quarterbacks out there in there, or am I don't know.
I mean, the Rams just signed Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, that guy's still in the league.
I heard Kaepernick's still looking.
Kaepernick's always looking for a job. I think Tim Tebow would suit up if you gave him a call. But yeah, so here's an undrafted, but it wasn't there. Man, I don't know.
So
I remember
if
some
the
guys. I remember
over-unders,
some guys that I was cheering for. Like, remember Connor Cook, Minnesota, Michigan
yeah,
State guy.
I do
You
remember
know,
him. Yep.
yeah. Like, I don't know. Where's the next?
Paxton
Know,
Lynch.
but here we go. Tommy DeVito is gonna get his call. That's a New York
Right?
Giant.
Fitzmagic probably would still be better than Tommy DeVito. I agree with you, Ben.
Tom Brady would be better than
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito, but that's what we're
Yeah,
dealing
but
with.
does Tom Brady want to come back and play for a 2-7 Giants team? You know,
Uh,
I mean, yeah, this is interesting. I'm trying to figure this out in my head. So if it's a 17-point spread and the over unders at 39, I mean, what do they see this game going 24 to? I mean, that wouldn't even cover though. 24 to
no, it's gonna be like
like
yeah, it's gonna
30
be
to.
like 33 to 7.
I mean, that's what they're saying. Like it's going to be 28 to 11, something like that.
It's gonna be a whooping.
Yeah, Giants won't score 10. I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is unless the Giants use this as total motivation and Tommy DeVito, I don't need, I don't see it. There's no way. There's no way. This is going to be like a 40-3 beatdown.
Let me ask this: what happened in New York when they played them?
What did happen?
What was that game? I don't remember.
Banked.
Was that 56-10 or something?
That was the game that Dallas goose egged them.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It
was opening week. It was opening week.
Opening week. It embarrassed the living snot out of them. They don't have Daniel Jones. Okay, that was one dude they did have. Now you get a backup quarterback in Tommy DeVito. Even if he's got an Italian last name, he ain't no Soprano. I'll tell you that right now. You can't have the mob come up in there and scare Dallas in Dallas because there's going to be a bunch of Rangers out there looking to kick some butt. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take the over on this one, and they're going to cover it. And I think it's going to be 63-3.
63-3. A 60 burger. All right.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think if this over hits, it's because the Cowboys cover the over. The Giants aren't going to get more than 10 points in this game. There's no way.
All right. How's Punchy Face do at home against the Broncos, who beat the Chiefs? They won their Super Bowl. Bills got to bounce back and start making a name for themselves. They got some injuries, though.
I would say, honestly, this is a must-win game for them. I'll go there right now. I think this is a must-win. And I think they will bounce back. They do. I think them and the Chiefs are tied for the least amount of back-to-back losses since 2020. So I think they do bounce back. I just want to see that offense get clicking because I don't trust that defense right now with all the injuries they've had. They did sign Linval Joseph. They did need a one technique D tackle after Daquan Jones got hurt, so it's good to see that. Yeah, I mean, Bills cover with the under. Okay, what was the over under on that?
We got
46 and a half.
It's a lot. It's a lot of points.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't like the Bills defense right now. I see this being closer to 27-21, 27-20 type game. So I mean, it's going to be right near that line. Vegas knows what they're doing. Let's put it that way. It's I think the Bills bounce back though.
Cool. DJ, how do you like this game?
I'm going to take the under on this one as well. I think this is going to be I don't want to say a very close game, but I think it will be a very well played out game. So I'm probably going to say final score. Let's go 27-13.
All right. I like the Broncos defense kind of getting better as the season goes on. I'll take the under on this. And generally, I like when teams beat other teams in the AFC West. My disdain for Josh Allen gets in the way. So my buddy Tyler Lancaster still on the practice squad. We'll see if he got called. He got called up for one game, didn't get any playing time. So I'm going to go Broncos on this one. and take the under. So if you're giving me the 7.5, I'll take it. And yeah, under 46.5.
So you like them with the points, or do you like them straight up?
Oh, with the points. You gotta give me
Okay.
the points. Gotta give me the points. They're not gonna.
Yeah, I think I'd take the points too, to be honest. I like I said, I see it being like 27, 21, somewhere around there. So
Cool. All right. Did you guys watch much of the college football over the past weekend?
I know TJ does, but I didn't
TJ
watch it too much. I was watching. What game was on?
seems so
Watching a
long
little.
ago. Washington and Washington
Oh, that's
USC
right.
was
Yep.
was a big game. We got a couple Heisman hopefuls on there, and then Caleb Williams, who previously had made fun of a quarterback crying post game, was crying and weeping in his mom's hands and arms, and the talking heads made a big deal about that because he's passionate or whatever. Listen, if you're a guy that's going to write "fuck you" on your fingernails for a national freaking game, then you got to be. Then that means you tough. You a tough guy. Sorry,
Yeah.
man. Tough guys don't cry in their mommy's hands. There's no crying in football. And so again, I don't.
Not for that reason, right? Yeah.
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 And again, that's his second loss in a row. Again, he doesn't play defense. He put up some good plays and made some things happen. But I'm not a Caleb Williams guy. I do like Penix, not because of the way his name sounds. Ben, knock it off. But yeah, it's definitely that was definitely a marquee game, and that was good. Here in town, we had it wasn't even the top. It was the eighth highest scoring game at Wrigley Field, but it was a football game because it was Iowa, and Iowa doesn't score points, and it was 10-7 against Northwestern. Again, Iowa football is amazing because they don't score points. It's so weird. It's such
But then you get so many good players that come out of that program. It doesn't make any sense.
It's defense, man. It's their defense holding other teams down there.
Defense, and they always have good offensive linemen that come from there too.
Yeah, one of Jackson's teammates is a commit to Iowa, wide receiver KJ Parker.
Oh, okay.
Shout out KJ Parker. He's a Hawkeye. So yeah, defense and O line are the bread and butter of those corn-fed guys out there in Iowa. Well, what else was another big game?
I got a few, but I'm gonna see what you.
Alabama, right? Well, Alabama, they went toe to toe with LSU. Looked like LSU was going to do something. They were giving their quarterback the Heisman at halftime, but there's two halves to the football game, and Alabama took it to them. So
yeah, they sure did.
Yeah,
they sure did.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how you can really talk about college football right now with whatever's happening with freaking Big Ten and Michigan, and I guess now they're saying that that other teams are doing it to them, and they have proof of it.
Yeah, right. Like,
I mean, that's pretty much what we said weeks ago when this whole story broke, right? Like, it's all the teams are doing it. They're all doing it. It's just did you get
whoever
caught
does it best? Yeah. Whoever does it best gets ridiculed because they're winning and the other teams are not. And and it just goes to show that they knew about it last season. That's why TCU switched their play calls that last week going up to the national championship game because they knew that they were onto them. That okay, let's do it. So, yeah, there was a. Again, I don't know. I think it's a witch hunt for Harbaugh, which is fine. I'd like to see Harbaugh coach the Bears, and the Bears trade away their pick so they can get JJ McCarthy, bring him back home. Nazareth guy right down the street. He can back up Fields for a year while Fields bets on himself and goes and gets a better deal someplace else. I like to see that. Yeah, especially if they don't win the national. Actually, it can go both ways. If they do win the national championship, then he's won the chip, and he can go back to the pros. If he doesn't win the national championship, or he gets, punished for this, and Harbaugh has to leave, good, get out of there and come to the pros. I'm all for it.
You've said that for a few weeks, and you even said that before this whole story came out about you wanting Harbaugh to go to Chicago. So what, he's kind of come out and said, now this is obviously before this whole scandal happened, that he didn't want to go back to the pros. He wanted to stay at Michigan. He wanted to build that program back up. He wanted to give it the recognition that it once had. You don't believe him, or what?
Money
Why
talks,
are you?
man. Money talks, especially for and I know they get paid a lot, but I mean to be the best of the best NFL head coach is better than the best college head coach, arguably in the modern era, right?
Mhm.
And yeah,
Don't you feel like a coach has more? If a coach has a program winning in college for 20, 30 years, you don't think that that means more than an NFL team? That okay, let's take Alabama over New England. Last Alabama's run over New England's run. You
okay.
don't think Nick Saban did a better job coaching there than Belichick?
Yes and no.
I mean,
Yeah,
you got
I think
players
so, right?
revolving door there, revolving door, different players every 2, 3 years. Whereas in New England, they had their mainstays that whole time. You know what I mean?
Okay, but if you want to sit down and you want to talk about it, okay, Michigan is a top tier blue chip team. And how many top tier blue chip teams are they playing? The Big Ten is top heavy, so you're getting all your accolades against kids that are probably never going to play on Sunday.
Fair.
But when you're in the NFL, you're playing with the best of the best,
That's
and
true.
and you're going up against coaches that are the best of the best. No one
Yep.
thinks that the coach at Indiana is is going to mash wits against Jim Harbaugh. But if Jim Harbaugh has to go up against his brother again, now they're matching wits against wits. You know what I mean? So I think that
That's
the
fair. That's a
competition
fair
is
argument.
tougher.
Yep. Yeah, that's a fair argument. Yep.
Yeah. And at some point, right after you've had so many double-digit $1 million paychecks, it's not about the money; it's about the recognition and winning as many titles as you can. So again, if he doesn't win the title, when are you going to win the title? Just like in baseball, where the boosters and the fans are going to push them out. Okay, you've brought on all this negative scrutiny. You've been suspended for 4 games. You might get suspended again. We might have some scholarships pulled. There might be some problems. Then the boosters are going to talk, and then the money's going to have a problem. So maybe where there's smoke, there's fire, and he's got to get out of there.
Yeah. You feel like that's the job he would want if he goes back to the NFL, the Bears?
I think it's a conversation that he has. I think it's a conversation that he has. I mean, I don't know if he's got, any animosity towards the family that traded him away
Mm-hmm.
and didn't give him a chance, because I think he had a better career as a Colt than he did as a Bear. But again, there's only 32 head coaches in the NFL, right? There's 175
Usually about
Division
what,
One.
6 to 8 openings every year, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he'll have a choice. I mean, I don't know where we are right now, but I mean, Chicago is probably going to be one of them. Let's be honest. I mean, there's probably going to be an opening there.
Yep.
I
depending
mean,
on how this game goes, it might be one tomorrow morning.
yeah. I mean, what, with Carolina?
No, the Bears might get rid of this guy's on the hot seat, man. You can't have you've lost a defensive coordinator and your running backs coach in the middle of the season. At some point, the blame has to be on the buck stops here. It has to be on the head coach. So you can't put the team together. Your roster wasn't put together well because you were sitting on Freeman for so long. Your star quarterback criticized the coaching. Like there's a problem here. There's a problem here, and the star cornerback has beef with the coaching staff and said himself that he goes straight to the GM with certain issues. That's a problem, and that's a head coach problem.
Well, it's interesting that because I was just thinking on the other side with Carolina, like playing tonight. Frank Reich didn't come right out and say it, but he pretty much said that he wanted to take Stroud instead of Young, but ownership didn't let him. So, I mean, does ownership look down upon something like that? I mean, he even though he didn't come out and say it, he said it. I'm just wondering, is if they only have a 1-15 season or whatever, is Reich a 1 year and done?
Could be, but I think that they have I think Ursay has a little bit more faith in him there than. Yeah. No, I don't think he's done. I don't think he's.
Who was there before him? Was that Matt Rule? No. Who was their coach last year? Steve Wilkes.
Wilkes.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes. But I think he was only a 1 year, if I'm not mistaken.
So, looking up into this week's football, any college games that you're looking forward to, TJ?
Yeah, I actually have a few of them that I'm looking forward to. I mean, of course, everybody's looking at the Penn State Michigan game.
Yeah.
Hoping Penn State just beats down on Michigan. In
Not gonna happen.
hey, I don't know.
It's in Penn State, so that is a big thing, though.
I'll say that's going to be the biggest factor is that crowd. And being that it's such a big game, that crowd's going to be a factor. I think it'll be a great game. Do I think it's going to be a slaughter? Hell no. I think it's going to be a nasty game. It's going to be well fought, but I hope Penn State just beats the snot out of them. My next game that I'm looking at, there's actually two. Oklahoma and West Virginia. Oklahoma just came off of a loss at OK State, which made me happy as a Longhorns fan because screw Oklahoma. They've lost 2 straight. And I think the biggest thing for me right now is the fact that Oklahoma is number 17 and Oklahoma State is 15. So I'm excited to see if West Virginia can help us out at a night game and just throttle Oklahoma.
Cool.
And then, of course, my game, Texas versus TCU. I want to see what exactly Texas has because we almost lost the game in overtime to a Kansas State team. Not saying they're bad, but I don't think it should have been this close. And we get Quinn Ewers back. That's all that matters to me. So I feel like that's going to be a massive weight lifted off a lot of Longhorns fans, being that Quinn Ewers comes back. I'm not saying Murphy did a bad job, but he's definitely not really cut out. I feel like you throw him in the middle of a season, say, "Hey, go have fun." Yeah, I don't think that's much of a hooray game for him. And I think the last one is going to be Oregon and USC. I want to see.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go Ducks.
I want to see that.
Quack, Mr. Ducksworth.
I don't think there's no more fight on for the USC. I think Caleb Williams lost his Heisman already.
Yeah. I want to see him cry again. Cry some more.
I want to see cry in Puddle's arms.
Yeah.
What I'm surprised you didn't mention, TJ. What do you think about Ole Miss and Georgia?
That's my game of the week.
I don't care about them.
What? National championship ramifications all over it. Number 9 Ole Miss going between the hedges. Number 2 Georgia.
But here's where I'm going to say this right now. I don't look forward to the SEC quite yet because we still have a Big 12 season to go through. As a Texas fan, I'm not looking into the future. I'm looking at the present. And
I'm not talking as a Texas fan. I'm talking as a college football fan.
I'm still not watching.
And the other one I'm surprised you didn't mention too, which I think will be a fun game, was Duke, although they lost a little bit of their shine from the beginning of the season in North Carolina. I think that'll be a fun game just because of the basketball background on it too. I mean, that's, I think that'll be fun.
I think every
Oh, you're not scheduled to be here.
Well, I couldn't let you guys keep going like this and not bring some reason to the conversation.
What?
So here we go. And TJ runs scared, tucking his tail.
Yeah, look at him. He's running away.
He's cracked out. He checked out. I don't know where he went.
Yeah, he probably fell asleep.
I'm even supporting his Horns this week, even though I want TCU to win. They're not going to. His Horns are going to win easily this week. The TJ Hate Bowl, West Virginia, Oklahoma is going to be a blast to watch. There'll be a lot of points scored in that one. But I gotta throw this out there to you guys right away: is Ole Miss, Georgia. People are going to sleep. People are sleeping on this game. Don't sleep on this game yet. I'm not kidding myself. Georgia should win this game. They should. But that's the problem. That's the problem, right? So right now we're looking at this game. You got top 10 ranked Ole Miss team. You've got a team with only one loss. Rolling into this game, Georgia's pretty high on themselves right now. Kirby's playing they are underrating us card. Don't sleep on the game. It's going to be something worth watching, and Ole Miss could give this a nice upset. The other kind of lost game here in my mind this week is looking at Missouri and Tennessee. Like, it's that 2 top 20 teams SEC matchup. Tennessee is overrated. Missouri's kind of underrated in my opinion this year. That's going to be a good football game that it definitely kind of gives you a feeling for who might be in a good bowl game later based on who wins this matchup, because someone's getting that Citrus Bowl kind of berth later on based on who wins this matchup. So again, college football is dumb, but I love it. The bowls are dumb. No, the bowls are awesome. The polls are dumb.
Bring back the BCS, baby.
Yes.
I'll tell you what. Let me create the algorithm, and the BCS won't be dumb anymore. We can do that. But in the meantime,
well, the playoffs are around the corner.
Yeah, and that's going to help some. But the BCS with the playoffs would have actually worked. I'll throw that out there right now. An actual BCS top 12 would have actually worked in the playoffs structure, but we didn't get that. But no, guys, you guys saw me chiming in the comments. In all seriousness, great show so far. Glad I could hop in for a little bit. Shout out to UWGB men winning a game tonight, and Sundance Wick in our first win as the GB coach. So happy to have that happen too. So,
awesome. Hey, any chance that we see upsets with 4 or 5 with Miami and Utah? Miami going to Florida State, Utah going to Washington. Any chance?
See, I don't think Utah's got it in them right now. I think Utah is that team that's going to keep being middling this year. They're just I haven't seen enough from them to really feel it. Miami's the one that I'm kind of feeling. If anything's going to happen,
I'm intrigued about that as well. Yeah.
I don't trust Mario Cristobal personally. I think he's a coach, as we saw with his horrible decision that cost him a game early in the season. But Miami is just that team that could be pesky enough that you could see that weird upset. In Florida State, I just don't think they're good. They're not great. So they're good for a rivalry game loss. Is it this game? Is it the Florida game? I don't know. But like Florida State's good for a random loss in here somewhere. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. And I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. But
did they? I don't remember what conferences play championship games now and not, but the ACC does play a championship game, correct?
They do. Yep.
Okay, I couldn't remember that for sure. So I mean, and literally, Miami has Florida State, or I'm sorry, Florida State has Miami, North Alabama, and Florida, and then they go to the ACC championship game. So
likely against Louisville. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like you said. I mean, if they're going to lose one of them games, it's going to be one of them rivalry games, likely, because I don't think they're going to lose to Louisville as well.
So Louisville's interesting. Their one loss was in a really crappy weather game in Pittsburgh. A crappy football team in a crappy weather game. That's the only loss they have. Louisville's not a bad team. They've been under the radar this whole season. They've got their head coach, Brom, came back home.
They're right.
Playing well. They're playing Virginia tonight. I haven't looked at the score in a while. But, don't sleep on Louisville either. They're going to be in a New Year's Six bowl. They're going to be in that ACC championship game. Like, Louisville beat Notre Dame. They beat Clemson, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you got a good game going on.
So
it's
24-24 with 6 minutes left.
Yeah.
Well, there goes my $1 bet. But oh well. They're 20-point favorites tonight. I took them with the points. But anyway, that being said, I mean, Louisville still is a good team that I feel good about right now. That they finally have a coach in place that's going to do something for them. In Virginia, I'll give them their flowers here. They played some teams tough. They lost a lot of games, and they're not good. I'm not saying that, but they'll be pesky. Anyway, all that said, it looks like Louisville, Florida State, and that ACC championship game should be a good game too. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're still waiting for that Bama Georgia game, which is going to likely be an absolute destruction of Alabama, because I'm standing by this. Bama's not going to do what I said. They're not going to lose the 4 games I thought they're going to lose. I'll eat that crow right now. But Bama's still not that good. Milroe is still not that good. This is one of the best coaching jobs that Saban's done in a very long time, though.
I agree. I agree.
with a good, not great Bama team.
Yep.
And I will give them that credit where it's due. Texas with a good win. I take anything away from Texas on that win. It means something. It's relevant. But yeah, Bama,
So Bama's going to lose to Kentucky this week, and Ole Miss is going to come out of the West. There, I said it.
Marco,
After Ole Miss beats Georgia now, we're going to get that. What we get every year is another freaking repeat of a regular season game where Georgia and Alabama play, but it's going to be Ole Miss and Georgia in the SEC championship game. There, I said it.
I would love it. But look, I know you bleed blue that way for some. Again, that's your backwater
Birthright.
Right?
It's a birthright.
Yeah, you guys treat it like a birthright winning basketball games. But anyway, that's another story.
No, it's a good story because it's a good segue into the beginning of men's basketball. I don't know if you guys are excited as I am as a Kentucky fan, being under the radar and not being in the top 3 to start. I like Calipari with motivating these guys to get up. I think they're ranked 16th right now. Are you guys excited for this? Or are you the type of guys that start watching in February as we approach March?
Yeah, pretty much.
Look, this time of year is fun. So I enjoy when we get these early season tournaments. You get those tournament-like matchups, kind of get a feeling for who's going to be relevant later on. If you want to see who to actually look at your brackets later on and watch right now, conference play is fun for rivalries. It's fun for your program. But this is when you watch to kind of get a feeling for what's going to matter come March. So bracketologists, check out your games now. It does matter. So
cool. I'm just trying to find Wisconsin in the top 25. I don't.
Yeah, not gonna happen right now. We won't deserve it. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, they're the first team. They're the first team out though right now.
You can claim Marquette. You want to claim Marquette? They're 5.
Look, Marquette is a good squad this year. We do claim Marquette. They're a good team, but Marquette's inconsistent, and that's the thing, though, right? Like watching Marquette play the tournaments have been their trouble. The Big East is fun to watch. They've got that gauntlet they're going to go through all season. Going back to once upon a time to the Conference USA when Marquette was playing that, when you had Louisville, Cincinnati, that whole Conference USA, which was just the golden age of the Conference USA, once upon a time. But no, Marquette's going to be a fun team to watch this year. They've got some NBA talent in that team right now, and I couldn't tell you a name to save my life right now if I had to. But I can tell you that Chaka Smart's got that team playing well. They're going to be in position late in the season to have that 1 seed potentially. Yeah, because Texas isn't a basketball program. Sorry.
Oh, what are you talking about? Texas is 18 right now. Texas is going to be making some noise come March.
Congratulations to Kevin Durant. Cool. It's not a basketball program. They're a football program. Baseball program. Not basketball program. Anyway. So all that said, Marquette's going to be there. They're better than Wisconsin right now. Wisconsin's going to be relevant in the Big Ten. They're going to be competitive, but we're not winning the national championship this year. That's not happening. But you're going to see progress right now from Greg Gard's team to where I'm not going to be completely miserable come February. I will be angry in January. I guarantee you'll have at least one show where I come on mad at Greg Gard and the Wisconsin Badger basketball team. At least one show. But
every show you come on mad. It's every show.
I'm an angry giant, Marco. It's the reality. Okay, like right now as a Brewers, Capitals, Packer fan, I'm an angry man. It's my life.
So hold on, you said you're going with Marquette
for a 1 seed, not for a championship, but for a 1 seed, yes.
Okay, we'll see what happens December 6th.
Ooh, where's that game at?
It is at Marquette.
Let's go.
Pfizer
All right,
Forum.
let's go.
All
right, so TJ, hat bet.
Do you want a hat?
I want a hat.
I don't know if your big ass hat can fit in a cowboy hat. Along with that ego. You might have to get a large.
The ego is the real problem. The ego is the real problem. But I'm saying Marquette wins. You give me Marquette hat. Just saying.
I don't know if they make Marquette hats because it just looks too flamboyant.
Blue's a good color. It looks good on me too.
They don't
But,
have
Check out
blue
some of the
cowboy
spots
hats.
by me. We got some good custom hat shops down here. We can get you a nice
there we
custom.
go. There we go. But no, over you, Marco. What's Kentucky looking like? I don't even know. What's the roster like this year?
Pretty good. So again, we avoided the best recruiting class of the year, which we've had, years running, but they got a solid squad. I think we got to see what comes out of it, though. Well, the biggest problem that I have is that they lack when they have the number one recruiting class. Usually means they have 5 or 6 freshmen. I have to take a look at the roster and see if they have any veteran leadership because NIL keeps some guys a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that's, when you have the guy that's been the guy at his high school for 4 years going to Kentucky, and now you have 5 guys that are the guy, then you don't got a guy. And so they need that on the court leadership. So hopefully Calipari can find that and these guys can study it. It's a tough road ahead. I don't want a number 1 seed. I don't want a number. I like them to get in, at a 2 or a 3. That's just my superstition. But if they run the table and they go undefeated and they're the number 1 overall seed, cool.
What's a more Kentucky fan take than saying I don't want a 1 seed, I want a 2 or 3 seed?
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
the most Kentucky basketball fan take. That's like your Duke fan take I've ever heard one. Like, good Lord.
How about Tuesday night? We got Duke and Michigan State going already. 2 out of 4 already.
Yeah. Big Ten ACC Challenge, man. Always a blast.
And what about Creighton as an 8 seed? Creighton.
Ranked 8th? You mean, yeah. Creighton's there, man. They're, tell you what, so I was in school in Missouri. We got to watch a lot of Missouri Valley Conference. They had some really good schools. That's when you had Wichita State when they were running hot. Yep. Creighton was on the rise. You had, oh, man, it was fun. Missouri State had some teams that are kind of middle of the conference then that we'd watch them, and it was a blast, man. Don't sleep on those guys. It's some good basketball.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there a kid that came out of Creighton? It's a pretty good pro, wasn't there? I'm trying to remember who that was.
Yeah, I went to the Bulls recently.
Is that who it was? Somebody went to the Bulls?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember who that was, but I remember it was a pretty big.
What was your last white kid, Marco? One of the Bulls.
You lost me. I don't keep up with the Bulls, man. I don't know.
White kid.
Well, there's not many to go to the Bulls. That's kind of.
Is he still on? Is he still on the team? Alex Caruso, Lauri Markkanen,
Doug McDermott.
There you go.
Oh, Doug McDermott. Isn't he a Shanghai Shark? No, that's Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, you're thinking of Jimmer.
Yeah.
Jimmer was a Buck draft. Could be traded right away.
Yeah. Let's see. He was actually selected by the Nuggets. Doug McDermott was selected by the Nuggets and then traded to the Bulls. Went to the Thunder, Knicks, Mavs, Pacers, Spurs.
Journeyman.
Yeah, journeyman. But what was he? Round 1, pick 11. So.
Yep.
Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year.
Anyway, guys, anything cool you guys experienced or see so far this week? Worth mentioning?
Not really.
I got a hot take for you.
Congrats to Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
Yes, congrats to Ryan Blaney. Finally.
2 weeks in a row, NASCAR talk on the show. Love it.
So
and it won't be talked again until the 500.
Right. Well, so here's my hot take for you, gentlemen. I will cancel my Peacock subscription if CM Punk shows up at Survivor Series. Like I will end Peacock. Will no longer be in my household if he ends up in Survivor Series. So that is that cult of personality will end a immediate subscription I've had WWE Network since 2016. Then Peacock, when they moved over, I will end that if Punk moves over. That'll be done.
Is that the rumor?
Yeah, that's the rumor. It's in Chicago. It's there.
Why would he want to go back there if he hated it there so much?
Because Vince is gone. Trips is in control. You have new management. You got everything else going on. There's money. He can ride that retirement money wave, man. He talked. I think he learned his lesson. He went to his little indie thing. And he didn't like it because the kids were driving him nuts. He can't handle being around young talent. Okay, go back to your well-oiled machine. Go run some hot mic promos. Congratulations. Some pipe bombs. Congratulations, buddy. You told us the truth. What's behind the curtain? Whatever, dude. You're a punk. Get out of here. Like, just
He's a chick magnet.
Man, I haven't watched, but I wouldn't watch, but like, I would just lose so much interest in whatever they try to.
I would watch. I'll tell you this: he wouldn't move the needle for me a bit. I would watch it just as much as I watch it now, which is just very sporadically.
I would legitimately have a hard time watching Royal Rumble. I love that event. Like, that's one event that like I would go to my brother-in-law's house. Like, I'd be all for it.
Oh, I would watch a Royal Rumble. That's the one event I don't miss.
Like, Rumble and Mania are my
and Mania. Yeah,
Rumble and Mania, I love them. But if Punk's under contract, like, forget it. I'm just AEW then. Like, I will just not watch.
You still gotta watch the Rumble. You still got to see Jim Duggan come out or whatever.
I don't care.
Getting old too, though. That's getting old. That's getting old too.
If Punk is there, I'm done till he's gone. Like, I will boycott that. That is like, I'm done.
It is funny when they have those guys pop out, like the Duggins or whatever, and they don't have a shot in winning, but they just took up 5 spots for legends to come out and take somebody on the main roster spot that legitimately might be able to get a push out of it.
My son asked me to show him an old Rumble, so I showed him the Rumble when Mick Foley came out as all 3 characters.
Yeah, that was good.
So that was fun. He's like, he'd know the 3rd character. I'm like, Dude Love, man. Like, so he comes out as Dude Love and he's like, that's the weakest one. He's all upset. I'm like, but
if I remember correctly, at that time, Dude Love was probably the hottest of those characters.
Oh, well, so he comes out initially. You've got the whole, he came out initially with Terry Funk with his like crazy character. So you have this like kind of
Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah, this old school like hardcore-ish match starting off the Rumble is kind of fun. But Terry Funk, like the overselling was just so over the top, it was hilarious to me. But anyway, yeah, so there's my hot take for you, is that Peacock will be out of this household if we see a Punk arrival in Survivor Series.
How are you going to watch the Chargers and Bills game at the end of the season?
Don't even care.
That's on Peacock only? I'll have to use my pirate stream.
Yeah, I think it's Christmas Eve game. I think Chargers Bills.
You know what I just realized? That's actually a false. That's an empty threat because I watch Premier League soccer too much. I won't cancel because I'll watch Premier League soccer. So
good job. That lasted 5 minutes. Good job. Good job.
It's an empty threat.
I saw Deontay Wilder say that he wants to join the UFC. Thinks he could hang with some grapplers. I don't know, man. I'm a striker fan myself, but if you don't have grappling background, you're not going to survive in the cage.
I want to do one round with Stipe and see what happens.
Yeah.
Give me Stipe and Deontay Wilder. That'd be hilarious. Like, Stipe will embarrass him so fast. I would love it. But
awesome. Yeah. Did you see his
first ever NFL comeback?
Who?
Bryce Young.
Well, he already had that, didn't he? Because didn't they beat whoever that was?
They beat? I don't remember who they beat.
Didn't they beat the Texans?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Was that a comeback? Did they come back?
That was a comeback.
I missed that one.
Those are the most hideous Bears jerseys, man.
So
was it 9-6?
So the Bears finally admit that Tyson Bagent's not their future. We also acknowledge, how does that dude come from a world champion arm wrestler? The guy can't throw the ball 30 yards, and his dad's a world. Like, this doesn't make sense.
He couldn't even complete a screen pass earlier.
It's dude's got a noodle arm. Like, talk to dad about some lessons, man. Get some arm strength.
I don't
get it. I just don't get it. I call all the time. How come we don't tee up a backup quarterback that has not the same skill set? It's not going to be the same guy, but can do at least some of the things that your starting quarterback can do. So you don't have to rewrite the whole playbook. Get somebody that has the same
skill set
attributes, the same skill set.
To that point, going back earlier to the Ravens conversation, that's why you kind of saw what they did. with
Huntley.
Sorry,
Huntley.
with Huntley,
Mhm.
is that you have that guy who's similar, not the same, but similar, where you can run the same offense.
Yeah. Not every team has
Again.
a Pro Bowl backup. I mean,
Sorry, yeah.
not every team has a Pro Bowl backup.
Not every team has Chase
Huntley's not
Daniels.
that good. Period.
He was a Pro Bowler last year.
The Pro Bowl's a joke now and then. Let's not.
Did he
Even
make
with the
that
Pro
kick?
Bowl being a joke?
No, he didn't.
Even with the Pro
Oh.
Bowl being a joke, by the way, I saw a graphic that the Bears have one Pro Bowler in like the last 30 years at quarterback, and that was Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm like, that's hilarious. Like that's good comedy gold right there. But going back even further in the conversation before we go, I'm sorry, I need to clarify myself. We talk about the over being hit in the Pittsburgh Green Bay game, and I feel like I need to defend myself here a little bit.
Go ahead.
So what I'm seeing here is, so the Packers defense again played a Rams team that didn't have a quarterback even playing that game. Sorry, Rippon, you're not a quarterback. You're garbage. And I'll give Kenny Pickett this. He can at least throw a ball. And you have some receivers that are now playing well in Pickens and Deontay Johnson, both playing well for the Steelers, that there's going to be something that the Packers have to actually defend with. Our safeties are banged up. Valentine, while he's a good-looking rookie, like late draft pick at cornerback, we are susceptible there, and we're terrible against the run, and Najee Harris is there for the Steelers. Like, the Packers do not match well with the Steelers team, and we play better in the second half. We're going to score 14 points in the second half, 17 points, whatever it's going to be. We're going to lose. The Steelers are going to beat us in the first half up and down the field. So my whole thing here is that 40 points will be scored. It's going to be ugly. Packers will lose the game, I don't know, 17-28, something like that. And it'll be just enough to cover that. I think it's a 39.5 over-under on that game.
Yeah.
So we're going to lose by 2 scores. And it's just that kind of game. Watt's going to blow us up. I mean, if you're playing IDP, TJ Watt's going to win your matchup this weekend. It's going to be ridiculous. So that's my justification. Is looking at this, I see the Steelers being a bad matchup for our defense. I do like our defense, by the way. I said I don't. I do like our defense. The players I like. Our scheme I don't. So that's the difference.
All right. What are we getting into this weekend, guys? TJ, what's going on, buddy?
I'm actually on call this weekend. I was kind-hearted and took a guy's on call this week. So
what a nice guy.
What a good man.
But I do. It's funny because you guys are in high school football playoffs. My alma mater is actually playing my best friend, who is a head coach. So I'm gonna go half and half. I'm gonna go half maroon, half green, and root for both teams.
Bro, we're right here. I'm kidding. Happy for you.
Right on. Friday Night Lights or Saturday, depending on what your game schedule is like.
Friday night.
Troy, what are you doing this weekend?
Well, like I said, we're going to be hanging out with my uncle. Be good to see him. Haven't seen him since the summer, so that'll be nice. We'll get to catch up with him. I'll be working on Saturday, but I'm going to hope to follow along with that Michigan-Penn State game as much as I can. That'll be exciting. And Sundays is a day whole family gets together. We come over, usually get some sort of meal going. Maybe it's in the crock pot, whatever, something where we can just munch on all day and watch some football. It's something we just, I don't know how or why, but my whole family enjoys watching football. So we all get together and watch football on Sundays. It's awesome. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ben, what are you up to?
Taking my son small game hunting Saturday.
Nice.
Getting our deer stand set for opener of gun season here week from Saturday. Yep, and he wants to shoot a squirrel or two and maybe some rabbits. So I said, all right, well, I'll let him click around the 22 while I'm getting the stand set, and hopefully you bring a few furry friends home to let them cook up. So we'll see what happens.
Right on.
What about you, Marco? What are you doing?
So we got our game on Saturday, and then since Chiefs are on the bye and the Bears are taking care of business today, I'm probably not going to watch too much football. I'm going to probably help the wife put Halloween away and start whipping out Christmas. You guys' trees up yet?
No.
Black Friday, buddy.
A lot of early trees in the neighborhood, man. A lot of people put those trees up early here in sunny Chicago.
Yes, fake trees or real trees?
We finally went fake a couple years ago, so we're fake trees now.
I prefer real, but we've always had fake trees. But growing up, we always had a real tree, so that's something I always enjoyed. But I don't know why. Just the wife's family always did fake trees, and she just always wanted to do a fake tree. So just kind of what we stuck with at this point. Maybe one of these years I'll talk her into getting a real one back.
What about you, Ben?
We go real. So we got a place on Black Friday. The tree farms open up here. And so I usually work Black Friday because it's an easy day at work anyway. I get some stuff caught up, and then I'll get out around 3 o'clock or so, and we go to the tree farm before dark, get our tree cut down, and put it up here. And that kind of sets up nicely for I hunt the rest of the weekend, but the tree's up and the house starts smelling nice, and we can kind of decorate. I mean, up here it's dark by 4:30, so there's plenty of nighttime to take care of all that stuff.
Yeah. Usually the tradition was on my wife's birthday, we'd go and get the tree, go pick out a tree. Her birthday's 30th November. Now we have a fake tree, so we can kind of put it up whenever. But we have so many ornaments and so much stuff that we might end up becoming one of those multi-tree families. I don't know if you guys ever heard of those. I don't know. Our house isn't big enough. I don't know where we're going to put another one, but we'll figure something out. But yeah, so putting that away and hopefully getting ready for another football game. It's a long grind. So
where are you going with a tree that big, Griswold?
Bend over, I'll show you.
DJ, the shitter's full.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, have a good weekend. We'll touch base. See you guys.
Play it, Marco. I wasn't gonna...
This shirt don't fit like it used to, and I need another notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere else. Yeah, I can stand to lose a few pounds, but for right now, I'm working on my dad bod. Oh my God,